In this video, we'll take a look at how to apply for positions. Whenever you log in, you can always see the open positions, the ones that are available to apply. You can see here from the first list that you've already applied for this position. And as we talked about in another video, you have been invited to apply by an employer for this position. If you want to search the open positions, you can do that. And then you'll find the positions that might match your particular experience. So let's take a look at this position and then walk through the application process. So at the beginning, you'll definitely see which employer has posted it. You can view the company's profile for a little bit more background information, which includes their headquarters, which sponsor they're working with. You can also view that sponsor's profile if you want to learn a little bit more about that organization. It also provides information like company type, if it's for-profit, not-for-profit, or academic institution, as well as how many employees they have in the U.S. You'll also see the deadline for applications, so you need to submit by this particular deadline. You can mark this position as a favorite, which means it will appear in your list of favorites. So maybe you've taken a look at the position, you want to keep searching for some others, and you want to get back to it later. So we'll mark it as a favorite. Then you'll see all the basic information about the position, the title, the location, the start date, the job description, which can be typed in, but it can also be an uploaded document, the salary, as well as whether the employer is going to cover any of the visa sponsorship or visa application costs. So the next section is the qualifications for the position. This is going to include minimum degree levels, the number of years of experience that they think is well suited to the position, as well as what kind of education. The knowledge and skills section will list a number of different skills and knowledge that they're looking for, and also whether it's truly required for the position or simply desired. So once you have taken a look at all of that and you decide you want to apply, you can click Start Application. And it will walk you through the job application. First up is your profile. So it's going to pull in information that you've already saved to your profile. But if you need to edit it, you can go ahead and do that. Next, it's going to ask you about your qualifications. So what is the highest relevant education level that you have? The number of years of related experience to this specific position. Knowledge and skills, again, pulling in some of these from your profile. You can also type in anything that you would like. And we want to go through some of this information again because we recognize that your profile could be a little bit out of date. So we want to make sure we're giving the most up-to-date information to the employer. So next you have two standard questions. Why would you like to participate in this particular project or initiative? And how do you believe you're qualified for this position? So this is, free text, of course. Minimum, I believe, 10 words. But we certainly hope you'll write some thoughtful responses. Next, it's going to ask you about availability. So do you currently have a J-1 visa in the research scholar category? And there could be some candidates who are already in the US and they have a J-1 visa. Perhaps they are doing research at a university. So they may want to transfer from the university to the employer under their J-1 research scholar. They may be in a different type of visa status and may need to apply for the research scholar in their home country. Or maybe they're not in the US and they're outside the US and they definitely need to apply for the research scholar visa. This will help the employers understand your general availability and the timeline for that. Next question is, are you available to start the position by the desired start date, pending, of course, any visa processing that may be needed? If you realize that you're not going to be available, you can ask to consider a future start date if that's flexible, or yes, you are available by that timeline. Under employer questions, they have the option to type in a custom question that is specific to this position. So that is going to vary by position, and questions that will help them understand your qualifications better. And lastly, we have a section for documents. Required is your resume, which again, we're asking you to upload here to make sure it's the most up to date. You can choose to add a cover letter or any other types of documents that you would like. And then you just sign. So now this is going to be submitted to ISDA for review. And you'll also notice that it will help you identify any errors in the application. Okay, so 10 words for those questions. All right. Okay, so now it has been successfully submitted for review. So this means that we have a screening process to double check that you are a good fit for this position. Once that person has reviewed your information, they will either approve it and it will go directly to the employer for them to review your application, or they may come back and say they do not believe that you are qualified for this position. Okay, so that is how you can apply for any open position. If you have been invited to apply, it's basically the same process. This just helps you identify if the employer has reached out to you directly, invited you to apply for the position. So now you can look at your application section where you can see all the applications that you have applied for. You can see, for example, the top two, they were actually approved and submitted to the employer for them to review. And the one we just submitted is submitted for global review. Please see our other video on how to manage all of your applications and the various statuses.